Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of Tennis with Joe. Glad to be back after a bit of a break. Got a bit tied up with work, but I am now back. I'm hoping to bring out an episode at least once every fortnight. Now, this episode, I will be previewing the Men's US Open, just a few thoughts on it. I'm not going to go through the whole draw, just a few topics I want to discuss. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, Novak Djokovic is back to his best. He won the Cincinnati Masters after a bit of a blip in the Toronto Masters, beating Roger Federer in the final. Now, Novak became the first player on tour to win all 9 Masters 1000 titles. Great achievement. And what made it even better is that he didn't really play his best tennis up until the final. He was struggling, went to a lot of free setters, even against the likes of Adrian Manarino. No disrespect to Adrian Manarino, but he showed that fighter's prowess and made it to the final, where he faced Roger Federer, who, to be perfectly honest, was quite subpar, but Novak was solid throughout. And when Federer did try to raise his level, went up an early break in the second set, Djokovic was able to steady his ship and turn things around and win in straight sets. So apart from the blip in Toronto where he lost to Stefanos Tsitsipas, Novak Djokovic is looking great again, and after winning Wimbledon, he's going to be confident going into the US Open. Now, Djokovic is projected to face Roger Federer in the quarterfinals, and in my opinion, even though Roger Federer has got a brutal draw, Federer is still going to likely make it. Federer has been struggling at the moment, and maybe there's a bit of a question mark over his form, especially with the loss to Kevin Anderson after being 2 sets to level up at Wimbledon. And he didn't really play well at all during Cincinnati. But again, like Djokovic, he still made the final, showing that why these guys are real champions. So this should be the marquee matchup in the quarterfinals, provided they both make it through to the quarterfinals. I think they both will, even though Federer has got to get past potentially Benoit Paire, Nick Kyrgios. It's going to be a bit of a struggle, but I think he can indeed do it. And then you get the marquee matchup between two of the greatest players the sport has ever seen. And then I think what's going to happen is they will face Rafael Nadal in the final. Nadal's got quite an easy draw. Ferrer in the first round, Lucas Latchko in the second round, Kyle Edmund in the fourth round. It's quite a favourable draw for Rafael Nadal, and in my opinion, he should make the final. So we're going to have a great matchup between two of the game's greats again. So you got potentially a Federer Djokovic match, and then a Nadal Djokovic or Nadal Federer match as the US Open final, and that's just going to be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, definitely think that's going to be the final. I'm not going to predict a winner, but keep an eye out on that because that's probably going to be what's going to happen. Elsewhere in the draw, Stan Wawrinka looking like a big contender again. He had close matches against both Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer in the North American hardcourt events leading up to the tournament. Beat Nick Kyrgios in Toronto, and he did take Roger Federer to 3 sets in Cincinnati. So definitely been playing much better than earlier in the season, and he's actually facing Grigor Dimitrov in the first round of the US Open. So for the second slam in a row, they say Grand Slam draws are not fixed, but for the second Grand Slam in a row, excuse me, Stan is going to be facing Grigor Dimitrov. And in my opinion, Stan is probably going to come through that again and have a deep showing at the US Open. He seems a lot more comfortable with his knee now. He's finally got used to playing with sort of a different feeling. When someone has a surgery or something like that, they're second guessing themselves. They don't want to hurt it again. They maybe still think psychologically that the pain's still there. But Stan is definitely back, and he's going to make a big run at the US Open, in my opinion. Another question mark at the tournament. Well, first big question mark, will Andy Murray play? Well, in my opinion, Murray is going to play. He's got a favourable first round draw against James Duckworth of Australia. I don't think Murray should have too much trouble in that match. No disrespect to James Duckworth. And then in the next match, he's going to face either Feliciano Lopez or Fernando Verdasco. Two guys that Murray's actually had epic slam battles with. I'm sure most of you remember the US Open match against Lopez in 2012 on Murray's run to the title. And then there was Murray against Verdasco in Murray's run to the Wimbledon title. So he's going to face either one of them. Obviously, none of the three men are at the best anymore, but it's going to be a fantastic match if that does happen. You know, both great veterans of the game are Lopez and Verdasco, so it's going to be interesting to see how Murray does against them, because it's going to be a much bigger challenge than against James Duckworth. I also think it's make or break for Dominic Thiem's World Tour Finals chances. Now, he's been handed quite a favourable draw, which in my opinion should see him making at least the fourth round. But hot on his tail is John Isner. John Isner is 500 points behind Thiem. So if Isner has a good tournament and Thiem doesn't, Isner has the potential to overtake Thiem for the 8th spot. So he's going to be watching that very carefully. But if Thiem does have a good tournament and Isner doesn't, you know, Thiem can sort of open up a buffer between himself and the players ranked 9th, 10th and 11th. So it'd be kind of interesting to see the implications for the race to London and what's going to happen there. In terms of the guy behind Isner, you got Fabio Fognini. Now, you're going to see sort of the battle for Italian number one between Fognini and Marco Cecchinato. Fognini is ahead, but Cecchinato is 15th in the race, but I do think Fognini will kind of edge himself away from Cecchinato because I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, but I don't care. I will actually, well, I do care. I'll look to research it. Excuse me. But yeah, Cecchinato or whatever, he's not as solid on hard courts as Fognini, and I do feel this will be a chance for Fognini to pull away in the hard court season and finish in the top 10 for the first time in his career at the end of the year. I think that's going to be a huge possibility for Fognini. He's playing some good tennis. You know, if he stays motivated, he has got the potential for getting results on hard courts. One more thing, always got to look at the next gen. Alex Zverev is in a very decent quarter in the draw, and I think with Lendl on board, that's right, Zverev has taken on Ivan Lendl as part of his coaching staff, which I think is great for Zverev's discipline, and you know, Lendl won't take any bullshit from Zverev, so perfect for Zverev, great appointment, and I expect him to go deep in this draw. Can't exactly put it where, but I'm thinking he may make at least the semi-finals. You know, it's time he had a big result in the slam, and I think with Lendl on board, that's going to be a huge opportunity for him. So that's just a few of my thoughts on the US Open draw. I'm actually heading to New York myself tomorrow. It's 10:30 at night now. I've got to be up at about 4:30 in the morning for my flight. And I'm on site for the first 3 days of the tournament, really excited. So if you are on site, please feel free to say hello. I'm going to be vlogging. I'm going to be doing some more fun videos, which I will reveal in the near future. If you have any thoughts on this video, please leave comments down below in the comment section, and make sure you subscribe to my channel, share my video, and I will be back very shortly with another episode of Tennis with Joe. Thank you for watching. Bye.